Some of you are skinny fat. Some of y'all are fat skinny. And this summer, you're gonna wanna be outside, having fun with everybody else, at the beach, the pool, the functions. You're gonna wanna slide up on some big booty Latinas or big booty white girls. They got them now too. You might wanna get you one of them. Or you might wanna get you a little black girl, man. Descendant of Wakanda. Whatever type of you wanna start this summer, you don't need to get in shape to do that. Nigga, what? You can't burn fat and build muscle simultaneously. Pay attention. There are some circumstances where you can burn fat and build muscle at the same damn time. The people who can do it are people who have just started working out, right? This is your first fitness video you ever watched. First of all, congratulations. You starting your shit off right. You skipped all the bullshit and came straight to the dope shit. You should be proud of yourself, right? Working out for real, you can build muscle and burn fat simultaneously your first year because your body's going through such a adaptation phase. It will be possible for you. If you've been training in the gym for real for more than a year, then it's unlikely you'll be able to burn fat and build muscle simultaneously, but there's still hope for you, and I'm gonna show you how in this video. Probably been doing it for the year, you still look like shit. That's how you ended up watching videos. Motherfucker, I don't watch videos on how to build muscle and burn fat. I'm making one right now. You can also do it if you are on some sort of performance enhancement drugs. If you're taking roids, Tren, super soldier serum, whatever they gave Steve Rogers. If you got some of that shit, you can burn fat and build muscle at the same time. However, at the same time, if it's possible, it's not optimal. Because think about fucking bodybuilders. These motherfuckers already have elite genetics. They're on tons of PEDs. That's why they all die super early. It's not about the years in your life, it's about the life in your years. That's the mantra of a dying bodybuilder. And they have the best nutrition coaches and the best bodybuilding coaches working with them. And they still don't try to build muscle and burn fat simultaneously. They go on huge bulks, get fat and gross for like half the year, then they go on a huge cut and look fucking shredded for their show. They do that because it's most optimal. So just because there is a world where you can do it at the same time, it's probable, but it's not optimal. However, I have a workaround for this for you. First thing they do is they bulk. They go on a bulk. So they start bulking and they bulk all year until they're fucking gross. This is the gross line right here. They bulk all year and they're out here bulking, putting on muscle. And then they start going on a cut. Then they start going on a cut finally. Then they start going on a cut. They go on a cut and then they start cutting, right? They do like trash half the year, like I said previously, until they cut and then they finally start looking good. No diddy. That's what bodybuilders do, right? So let's just say this is like a year. What I'm gonna show you a method is how you can actually stay looking good all year and start building some muscle and burning fat. Right, we're gonna take the same philosophy, right? So what we're gonna do is we have our bulk phase and our cut phase. It looks like a road. It's the road to ripness. At the end of that road is a six-pack, confidence, bitches who wanna mate with you and have your black babies. Instead of doing it for a whole motherfucking year, first you cut. You wanna cut until you're as ripped as you wanna be. Then you get there and then you bulk. The blue line is gonna represent the bulk. So now we're bulking. And then soon as we start to get a little bit fat, what we do is we cut again to as ripped as you wanna be. And we keep doing this over and over again. And I'll talk about how long you should do it each phase. But the blue line represents bulking, the red line represents cutting. And the beauty of this is you stay looking good all year. You're basically doing the same thing as the bodybuilder, is just shorter durations. I call it micro cuts and micro bulk. A lot of people will try to tell you that you can build muscle and burn fat simultaneously. Listen, man, the most anabolic thing you can do is put yourself in a caloric surplus, AKA a bulk. And the best thing you can do to lose fat is to put yourself in a caloric deficit. So we're just gonna do this the same way the bodybuilders do it. We do it in shorter time frames instead of 6 month periods. One of the reasons it works so much better for bodybuilders is they don't care if they're fucking fat during the off season. It doesn't matter. They don't need to be ripped for a show. Me and you, we got to be ripped all year round because we want to get pussy all year round. I don't want my girlfriend looking at me and be like, damn, you used to look good, now you look like shit. And then we got to go see the Michael B. Jordan movie or something and she wishing I look like him. I don't want that. You don't want that. I'll beat Michael B. Jordan's ass. We can do Creed 4 right now, nigga. I'm sorry, Michael, if you're watching this, I ain't mean to turn up on you like that, man. You seem like a good brother. Put you in a Michael B coma, nigga. And also when these bodybuilders do this shit, they're on motherfucking PEDs. Remember, they're on PEDs. So they're gonna build more muscle during the bulk than we will. And they'll put on less fat than we will during this bulk, right? Because they're on PEDs. And because they're on PEDs, when they cut, they'll retain more muscle and lose more fat because they're on PEDs. PEDs work really well, don't they, Michael B. Jordan? Oh, and another thing is, the reason we don't want to get fat during a bulk is because fat cells don't go away. I'm gonna take you niggas back to high school biology right quick. The way cells work, some people erroneously think that, oh man, if you get fat, that you could turn that fat into muscle. When I hear that, I just think, damn, the fucking United States public school system really they need to pay the teachers more. Cells can do a few things. They can fucking grow and they can divide, but they cannot transform into other kind of cells. We are not X-Men. Eyeball cells don't turn into skin cells. Like, cells do not transform into other kind of cells. Muscle does not turn into fat. But here's what happens with fat cells. When you get fat and you start bulking, the fat cells grow, they expand, they get large, right? And then what happens? They divide. And then they get large. So what happens is, if you go on a bulk, you will end up with more fat cells. You may think, okay, I'll just go on a cut and I'll get rid of the fat cells. Nah, it doesn't work like that. When you get new fat cells, you do not get rid of them. They get smaller. They can get super smaller. Fat cells don't die. Let me show you what I'm talking about. National Institute of Health, basically in this study, it's talking about fat cells in your teen years or any years. They linger for a lifetime. When you get new fat cells, they stay forever, right? This is why it's easier for fat motherfuckers to get fat again, because they got more fat cells. The fat cells only have to grow. They don't have to divide. The only way to get rid of fat cells, new ones, once you make them, to get rid of them, is get a liposuction. Here's another study just talking about dynamics of fat cell turnover in humans. But anyway, fat cells don't go away once you get them, right? So we don't want to make new fat cells, right? And that's what happens when you go on these big ass bulks. You actually make new fat cells. The micro cut and the micro bulk prevents that from happening. Again, let's go over the rules. I don't care if you're skinny fat or whatever you got going on. First, you go on a cut and you get as ripped as you want to be. There's a few different ways to do it, but the number one thing you should do, first, you have to be in a caloric deficit, meaning you are burning more calories than you consume. What you want to do is you want to get yourself some sort of fitness tracker. You can get yourself a Fitbit, a Garmin, Apple Watch. You can get yourself a Samsung watch. If you a real nerd, I don't know anybody with a Samsung watch who's ever had vaginal sex with a woman. I'm sure they're out there. I just ain't seen them in the wild. I think a Samsung watch is the best watch to buy if you've taken a vow of celibacy and you want to make sure that no one is sexually attracted to you in any capacity. Get yourself a Samsung watch. That is pussy repellent on your arm. Ask your female friends, your mothers, your sisters, have you ever fucked a guy with a Samsung watch? After they get done throwing up in their mouth a little bit, no. I'm sure they're fine devices though. Samsung makes some good devices. Ever wants to pay me to endorse their ugly ass watch, I'll take back everything I just said. Johnny Samsung, if you're listening, I have one on my ankle and on both wrists if you give me enough money. But up until then, that's the goofiest shit you'll wear. I digress. Get yourself a fitness tracker. My preferred fitness tracker is the Aura Ring. I used to wear the Whoop. It doesn't match all my attire. If you wear a suit with the fucking Whoop, you look like Spy Kids or some shit, man. You look like a goddamn cyber bully with that shit on. And I used to wear the Apple Watch until I started wearing these Swiss watches, you know, and this don't track my heart rate, but increases your mama's heart rate when she see me, increases your bitch's heart rate when she sees it. Anyway, why is it important to track the calories you burn? Because we want to put ourselves in a caloric deficit, meaning we're burning more calories than we consume. So we should know how many calories we're burning. And these fitness trackers will help you with that. They're not 100% accurate, but we want to make sure we're in a good range, right? So that's step one. Get yourself a fitness tracker. I think Samsung makes a ring. I'm sure it's fine. If you hate pussy, go ahead and get yourself an Android Samsung phone. Start sending bitches green texts. You will accidentally save yourself until marriage with that shit. But you'll marry a guy who's also a nerd. Anyway, the next thing we need to do is you gotta get your phone, right, and download MyFitnessPal. And what you want to do is start tracking all the calories you eat. This is the part where motherfuckers start acting like some real bitches. Oh, I don't want to track my calories. Do I have to track my calories? And they act like it's the fucking most difficult thing in the world. They start crying about it. Like I asked them to do motherfucking calculus or some shit. All you got to do is put numbers in your fucking phone. You know, if you think it's difficult, then you really need to reassess your associations with challenges. Because I see people doing real difficult shit. Like I see these men hanging from fucking building, cleaning the windows in Miami, like a Latino Spider-Man. Like that's difficult. And let me show you why you should track your calories. So there was a study done by Duke University. What they did, they got a bunch of fucking fat boys like you, and they said, hey, fat ass, all we need you to do is track your motherfucking calories in MyFitnessPal. They had them use MyFitnessPal for 3 months, right? They didn't give them no diet plan. They didn't give them no workout plan. They didn't have these motherfuckers doing keto. They didn't have these motherfuckers doing vegan diet, paleo diet, none of that shit. You know, they just said, track what you eat instead of just putting anything in your mouth like a whore. Just fucking put it in MyFitnessPal, fat boy. After 3 months of this shit, these motherfuckers lost an average of 5 pounds. No plan. Like, you gotta remember, 5 pounds in 3 months is not impressive until you remember they did nothing. They had no diet plan, no workout plan, nothing. All they did was track their fucking calories. Because once you start tracking, you start being more mindful of what you eating, you start making better decisions. And what happens is people start to realize how many calories they eat every day. Most people have no fucking clue how many calories they eat every day. My girl, she was tracking her calories at once. She was trying to get like me. You become like the people you around. And she's really from the Lower East Side, right? But her heritage is Dominican, right? Her parents barely speak English, you know? And she started tracking her calories, right? And she eating all this Dominican food, right? All types of fucking rice and all types of Dominican shit, you know? She eating that mungo fungo. That shit they be eating, that mungo fungo made from plantains. She eating all that shit up. That mango con huevos. And she ain't had no idea how many calories in it. And then she was trying to cut for like, you know, a summer vacation we was going on. She put that shit in MyFitnessPal and she was like, holy shit, I'm out of calories for the day after eating that mungo fungo con huevos. And I was like, yeah, Dios mío, mi amor. No más desayuno para tú. And I had to fucking slap the plate out her hand, right? I ain't slap her. We don't hit the bitches. Chris Brown taught us that. We got to thank Chris for making that sacrifice for us. Else we wouldn't have learned. I say all that to say the average motherfucker, including you, has no idea how many calories you're eating each day. Once these fat boys in this study started finally tracking this shit, they started making better decisions. Now, imagine you actually have a real fucking fat loss plan. I'm about to give you one. You about to get one from the king of ketosis. You about to get a fat loss plan from the one and only Gymnasium Jesus. I'm very excited for you right now. Get your pen and pads out. What I prefer you do, go ahead and open up ChatGPT. You don't have to use ChatGPT. You could use Gemini, or you can use Claude if you swing that way, or you can use Gronk if you nasty. If you like a little bit of racism. We all like a little bit of racism sometimes. I'm gonna open up ChatGPT on my phone. Sometimes I like to talk to this hoe live. I'm 200 pounds. I lift weights 5 days a week. I do cardio 3 to 4 times a week. Unless my girl's on a period, then it's like a little less. I want to lose 1 pound of fat per week. How many calories should I consume? All right, so here's what Shorty said, man. You know, she did a whole bunch of fucking calculations and shit, calculated all this stuff. But here's the thing, with the prompt, you have to tell her your weight and tell her how active you are. Your shit might be different here. I didn't mean for her to hear that, but ChatGPT's always listen. But you tell her your activity level, boom. All right, 1 pound a week, she estimates my total daily energy expenditure, right? She categorizes me as very active. Cool. Metabolic rate, all the shit. She did all the math. Final answer is 2,600 calories. Then you hit her with this: make me a diet plan that hits those calories, but I also need to get 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Now, a lot of you guys may be thinking, man, I heard so-and-so fitness influencer on YouTube saying you only need like 0.7 or 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. And I'm not disagreeing with that YouTuber, but you gotta remember those studies were conducted in controlled environments. The science nerds who were doing those studies knew exactly how much protein each participant was getting. You and I live in the real world, right? And in the real world, the FDA allows food labels to be off by 20% in either direction. So what does that mean? If you get some shit that says it has 10 grams of protein, legally, it could have only 8 grams of protein. It might have 12, but it might have 8. It's not bad to get too much protein, but it is bad to not get enough, especially when you're cutting, because you need the protein to retain the body weight. So we're just gonna do a pound, because even though you might only need 0.8, we're gonna go for a whole pound, because that makes up for the potential 20% margin that the FDA allows food labels to be off. Does that make sense? I don't know why nobody's talking about this shit. How come they don't know that? Maybe they should shut the fuck up. You know it now because you watched this video. Congratulations, man. I'm real proud of you. You put that prompt in there, hit the button, send that shit to Skynet, and then it's gonna come back with your shit, man. It makes a plan. So these are the macros you're gonna be hitting each day. You can adjust the macros too, right? Boom. Oh, she got it on high protein, moderate fat, low carb. Okay, so the reason she's doing low carbs is because she knows me. She knows I'm keto. It's gonna be different for you when you put it in. I'm keto, so she got me at 50 grams of carbohydrates, right? She wrote me a diet plan. What you notice is there's probably gonna be no chicken breast in this shit, because she know I don't like chicken breast. I told her, hey bitch, chicken breasts are for women. Don't ever put that shit in my thing, right? She got me? Chicken thighs. Now you got your shit, man. You got your game plan, right? And here's the beauty of it. You got a diet that's gonna put you in a caloric deficit, and you're tracking how many calories you burn to make sure you're in a caloric deficit, because fat loss is just math. Now, the next thing you got to do is start tracking all this shit every day. I got a habit tracker that you can download. It's called the Victory Revision Planner. You can track all your goals in there and any habits you want, but you need to pay attention to the part where you put in your fucking calories burned and calories consumed. So let's say, important you track because you got to be consistent, right? You got to make sure this works, right? So let's say calories consumed. Remember, we're supposed to get 2,600 each day. Let's say we're doing this shit for a week. Boom. All right, so we track how many calories we consume, but we want to track how many calories we burn too. So in your Victory Revision Planner, it's going to have this formula in here that does it. This is just a small version of it. And track how many calories you're burning each day. And these are total calories, not just calories from exercise, right? So let's just say you set that goal for 3,100 each day, which is fucking light work, right? Boom. You'll burn 500 calories a day equals 3,500, which will have you exactly burning 1 pound of fat per week, because every pound of fat you want it to lose, you have to burn an extra 3,500 calories. And that's why we tracking our macros, because it's just math. How long do we do this for? Well, the first time you do it until you get as ripped as you want to be. Even if you're skinny fat, you want to do it till you get as ripped as you want to be. And some people tell you to bulk first. I think that's so fucking stupid for a lot of reasons I talked about initially, but also building muscle is a more difficult process biologically, right? The muscles have to break down and then grow back. Fat cells just have to shrink. Like, you can lose fat way faster than you can build muscle. You're skinny fat right now and you just get skinny, you'll immediately look better, and you can do that faster. If you start bulking first, what's gonna happen is you won't be as skinny, but you'll be a little fatter. And the problem with that is, if you put on little muscle on top of some fat, it won't look as impressive. But sometimes, I swear to God, when I cut, people look at me and be like, yo man, did you get bigger? And I'll be like, nah, I actually got leaner, but I look bigger because of the proportions, right? My waist is smaller, so it makes my shoulders look bigger. You can see the more cuts in my arms and shit. I've been a trainer for over 25 years, and I train women, and they said, oh, I want to get my butt bigger. I'm like, yeah, but you kind of fat, bitch. We gonna get your butt bigger. We got to get rid of some of those love handles, those chicharroles, right? So you don't have to only date black guys this summer, right? You can date them if you choose to, but it won't be your only option because you're so fat, right? We need to get rid of that first. And then here's the thing, once they got leaner, that ass looked fatter, right? Because the waist was smaller. She looked like a motherfucking hourglass instead of looking like a 2-liter. She was curvy instead of blocky. You know what I'm saying? She looked like Jessica Rabbit instead of SpongeBob SquarePants. Same goes for you, skinny fat boy. You're gonna look more impressive as soon as you get leaner. Then when we put some muscle on top of your lean frame, you're gonna look way better. You do that cut until you are as ripped as you wanna be, and use the mirror for that shit. If you're feeling like you looking ripped and shredded, boom, then you cut. Then we go into the bulk. So here's the rules for the bulk. Now we need to be in a caloric surplus. So we want to be in at least a 500 calorie surplus. Once you cut, you take your calories in pounds, multiply that by 20. That's how many calories you should get for the bulk, along with the same 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Now you can go back to ChatGPT, right, with those parameters. Let's say I was trying to bulk. I am 200 pounds. I lift weights 4 to 5 days a week and do cardio. Make me a diet plan where I'm getting my body weight in pounds times 15 and I'm getting 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. I'm gonna make her do the math. Now it's in here, boom, exactly what I need, 3,000 calories per day, boom, just boom, boom, boom. Yeah, she broke down my macros. Now she knows I'm keto, so it's gonna be different for y'all. She's got my carbs a little high. She fucked it up with that. All right, so I'm gonna do, she got all this shit here. She got me eating oatmeal and shit. That's the workout plan. This probably be good for both of y'all, but I'm still keto. I still bulk on keto. And I'm gonna tell her, make me a keto version. You got your diet plan for the bulk, right? How long do you bulk? You bulk until your abs start going away. Your abs are going to be your reference point. When you go on your first cut, you cut until you super ripped and you finally got abs. Because all of you have abs. Even if you skinny fat, you got abs, you got abdominal muscles. You just can't see them over that fat. You over here looking like Bart Simpson right now. When you got the abs, then you bulk until you can't see your abs anymore. I wait until they start looking kind of less defined. It's not about the duration, it's about abs. This way you can keep abs all year round, but you're still bulking and cutting. And then right when your abs start to fade, you immediately go back into another cut. You can actually do this indefinitely. I've been doing this shit for like 20 years. I never do maintenance. There's really no such thing as maintenance, right? You're either in an anabolic state where you're building muscle, or you're in a catabolic state where you're losing muscle, right? If you maintain the same amount of muscle over a month or so, that means that you were equally anabolic and catabolic during that month, but you're always isolating between the two. It's kind of like when you're driving a car and you're driving straight. It looks like you're driving straight, but you know, you're always making those little micro adjustments, right? You're never going 100, but you're just making micro adjustments the whole time, but you're still moving forward. That's what the micro cut and micro bulk is like. I've been doing this shit for like 20 years, man. This is why people have said, man, Brandon, how do you stay ripped all year round? Motherfucking micro cutting and micro bulking. If you one of my OG fans from 2009, when I first started this channel, I was talking about this back then. This is the best way to build muscle and burn fat at the same time, because you're not doing it simultaneously. You're doing it within the same time frame. Now, what about the workouts during this time? I could tell you what to do, but this video will be too fucking long. We got Skynet now. Yo, make me a workout plan to build muscle based on the teachings of famous, handsome YouTuber Brandon Carter. You gotta write handsome just so you don't mix it up with any other Brandon Carters out. Of course, this bitch knows what's up. She knows me, man. You know what I'm saying? Full body training for that. So that's what I recommend. I have videos on why full body training is more effective, and it should give you the workout. And you can do the same thing for the cut tools. Tell her to make you a workout based off the teachings of Brandon Carter. And you might be thinking, why does Brandon recommend full body workouts? Because I believe it's the best, and I've been a trainer longer than you've been alive, mother. I've been training people for 25 years. Back when your mom was putting your daddy in the friend zone. Before you even got born, I was training 10 people a day. I have another video you should watch right now that'll show you why I think full body training is more effective. You can go watch that now. But also, wait a minute. Some of you guys, you're like, damn, I want to be a trainer like you, Brandon. How do I do that? Man, I got a free ebook called The 10 Commandments of Online Training that'll show you exactly how to grow your online fitness business. I made millions as an online trainer, and I've taught about 15,000 people how to grow their online fitness business too. Some of these motherfuckers are famous on YouTube now, man, as a result of my teachings and my tutelage, right? You could be next for free. All you gotta do is download that book, and it'll show you how. The link's in the description. All right.